House will come to order. This morning, the pledge will be said by Max Armendariz from Colorado CU Boulder, in Boulder, Colorado, intern for Representative Benavidez.
Good morning. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Gregorio, please call the roll.
Stay with her. Yep.
Representatives Arndt, Baisley, Benavidez, Byrd, Bockenfeld, Buck, Buckner, Puenteo, Caraveo, Carver, Catlin, Champion, Coleman, Cutter, Duran, Escar, Exum, Froelich, Garnett, Geithner, Gonzalez Gutierrez, Gray, Representative Gray. Excused. Representative Gray is excused. Herod, Holtorf, Hooten, Representative Hooten. Humphrey, Jackson, Jaquez Lewis, Kennedy, Kipp, Representative Gray is present. Kraft Tharp, Landgraf. Oh, she's excused, sorry. All day. Representative Landgraf is excused. Larson, Liston, Lontine, McCluskey, McKean, McLaughlin, Melton, Michael St-Genet. Representative Michael St-Genet is excused. Mullica, Neville, Pelton, Ransom, Rich, Roberts, Sane, Representative Sane, Sandridge, Singer, Sirota, she's excused, Snyder, Representative Soper is excused, Sullivan, Tipper, Titone, Valdez A, right there. Valdez D, Van Winkle, Weissman, Williams, Wilson, Woodrow, Young, Madam Speaker.
With 62 present and 3 excused, we have a quorum. Representative Roberts.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the Journal of Thursday, March 12, 2020 be approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk.
You all have heard the motion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those in favor, please say no. All those opposed. even say the right thing, but. Okay, Representative Gray.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We're in an interesting time right now, and I want to let y'all know that for some of us, that involves figuring out what to do with our kiddos during the day around here. I want to let you know that I have closed off my office to folks from the outside right now and cleaned it down with Clorox as best as possible. And if you're somebody who's living your life where you got to figure out what you're going to do with your children and also coming to work here over the next few days, just know that I have set aside my office for exactly that purpose. We've got live video feeds of the floor, and it's very close to here, and you've got good access to it. And you can get down here pretty quickly. I know I've done it many times before, so just know if that's a situation that you're dealing with right now, Ellie and Theo are here today. You're not going to get to see them because we're keeping them away from everybody else, but just know if that's something you're dealing with and I can help, then let me know. Thanks.
All right, any other announcements or introductions? Representative Holtorf.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Esteemed colleagues in the House chamber. Today is National Blame Someone Else Day. The first Friday, the 13th of every year, gets the honor of holding this day. Well, that day, ladies and gentlemen, is today. On this occasion, someone else is to blame, just this once, just today, for anything or everything. If your bank account runs low, blame the bank. If your clothes fit too tightly, blame the invisible closet fairy. So today, if we think about our state's fiscal dilemmas and challenges, we can blame someone else. To highlight a real issue for rural Colorado, I will use this day to pass blame. As we continue to attack traditional energy sources such as coal, oil, and natural
Representative
gas.
Pelton, Holtorf, this is announcements and introductions. Are you introducing anyone?
Well, Madam Speaker, I'm introducing a day.
Okay.
A national holiday.
And what's the national holiday?
Ma'am, it's National Blame Someone Else Day, and it is recognized, and it is a real holiday, ma'am.
Okay.
May I please continue? I'm almost finished.
So Representative Holtorf, this morning at the well, or any morning at the well, is not, if you have a real day that we are celebrating, happy to do that. But lecturing from the well outside of a bill is not what we do during announcements and introductions.
I understand that, ma'am. May I finish this, or would you like me to step down?
I think you've made your point.
Okay, well, thank you for your attention. I encourage everybody to celebrate National Blame Someone Else Day and think about rural Colorado and our important tax base as we move forward in this esteemed body. Thank you.
Any other announcements and introductions? Seeing none, our first order of business is third reading of bills, final passage. Mr. Gregorio, please read the title of House Bill 1359.
House Bill 1359 by Representatives Garnett and Neville, also Senators Fenberg and Holbert, concerning modifications to party candidate designation requirements to accommodate public health concerns.
Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1359 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1359 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. I would ask permission for a third reading technical amendment.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and if we could have it displayed. It's just a technical correction that the drafter caught this morning, and I would ask for an aye vote.
So we will be voting on whether to grant permission to do a third reading amendment. The question before us is whether to grant permission to do a third reading amendment. Mr. Gregorio, please open the machine and members please vote. Benavides, Coleman, Hooton, McKean, Melton. Please close the machine. With 59 aye votes, 3 no votes, and 3 excused, permission to offer a third reading amendment is granted. Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move L011 and ask for an aye vote.
The question before us is the passage of L011, amending House Bill 1359. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and members please vote. Malika, please close the machine. With 61 aye votes, 1 no vote, and 3 excused, L011 is adopted. Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1359 as amended on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1359 on third reading as amended. Is there any discussion? Representative Williams.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And members, I don't normally come down on third reading if I can help it. And I apologize for that. But I didn't really get a chance to talk on seconds. I did get distracted with the pogo stick amendment, so please forgive me for not speaking on seconds about this bill. I've been torn on whether or not I want to support this or oppose it. And it's kind of a tough issue because we are in a situation where, you know, we should probably act and do something so as to allow for major and minor parties to have flexibility in light of the pandemic that we are facing here. So I do acknowledge the good work of both bill sponsors and what they're trying to do. I do think that, you know, it's definitely coming from a good place. My issue with this, though, is that it was hasty. We are acting in haste, and I don't think anyone can dispute that. And what this bill does, after reading of it and kind of sleeping on it, it does give, you know, pretty good leeway to the parties, regardless of what the governor does, regardless of what, you know, emergency declarations are issued. And they could happen, they could not happen, but it still gives the political parties the ability to change up their rules during a critical time in our election process. And that's a little troubling to me, but one of the things that I certainly cannot support in this bill is the fact that we've extended, you know, petition deadlines just for another 2 weeks. If this bill passes, then people that have been collecting signatures for their candidacy, they're granted another 2 weeks. And that deadline, I believe, was March 17th. And I do not understand why we're doing that, because there's been about nearly 2 months that these candidates could gather signatures and get ballot access that way. I do understand the flexibility part of it for people going through the assembly, right? Especially when we're starting to hit a critical time with this pandemic. So it makes sense that we would give flexibility to parties, but I don't understand why we're giving flexibility on the petition side of it as well. And those are pretty much my objections, that we're kind of rushing this through, and it's not that it wasn't for good reason, but I don't know if this was properly vetted the way that we would normally do something. And that's what makes it hard, because what's normal right now, right? We are sort of in an emergency situation. And so I get that. But in the span of 5 hours, we went from a draft to committee to amendments to passage on second reading, and now here we are on third reading. It seems like it was a bit fast. And I'm just pretty uncomfortable with what we're doing here. And so for that reason, I'm going to have to respectfully vote no on this bill, with the understanding that I do acknowledge that those of you who are voting yes are also doing so for good reason. But me personally, I can't support this as written, and I do hope that it might complicate things, but I do hope the Senate does work on a few amendments to put a little bit more guardrails in place for this. So thank you, Madam Speaker. I ask for a no vote, but I certainly ask everyone here to vote their conscience.
Representative Geithner.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, I too felt like this has been rushed a little bit. I think it's been about 17 hours since the bill was introduced into committee. Did not allow folks the opportunity from the various counties, including party chairs for the various counties, to come and offer some sort of comment on the bill as well. That concerns me, that we didn't hear from those members of our community which have been through this process. I know specifically in El Paso, we have many folks with a lot of years of experience in and around the assembly process, and it would have been nice to hear their criticisms or support, either way. I don't think that those comments were allowed just due to the nature and the time in which this was pushed through. 17 hours later, and we're already on thirds. And so I will be voting no. I, of course, agree with Representative Williams. Vote your conscience. I understand what we're trying to do in light of a possible emergency that we have here before us. But this impacts the way that we do business here in Colorado. And so I would have just preferred to have a little bit more deliberation from the public. And so I will be a no. Thank you.
Representative Buck.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I also appreciate all the work that has been done to make this try to work for the situation that we're in. I have to tell you, I think the extension of petitions is also not necessary unless you're extending the time of your assembly. So there, you know, it's a cause and effect, and I don't think if you're changing the date of the assembly, nor should you be allowed to have more time to gather petitions. I think we all know what the rules are in terms of petitions, so I would hope that the Senate would change that as well, amend that. So thank you, Madam Speaker.
Is there any further discussion? The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1359 on third reading as amended. Mr. Gregorio, please open the machine, and members, please vote. Representative Gray is excused. Please close the machine. With 52 aye votes, 9 no votes, and 4 excused, House Bill 1359 is passed as amended. Majority Leader Garnett. Oh, I'm sorry, co-sponsors. Representative Gray is back. Representative Gray, that's a $2 fine. Someone said, is your kiddo here? Okay, so you get a discount because your child is here. And please close the machine. Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to proceed out of order for consideration of Senate amendments to House bills.
All right. The next order of business is consideration of Senate amendments to House bills. Mr. Gregorio, please read the title of House Bill 1080.
House Bill 1080 by Representatives Gray and Van Winkle, also Senator Gonzalez and Marble, concerning repealing the residency licensing requirement for marijuana licenses.
Representative Gray.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In a bit of courage, I'm going to ask you all to concur with Senate amendments. So I would move we concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1080.
Do you want to explain what the Senate amendment does? Representative Gray.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Senate amendments were entirely technical cleanup. We had amended some of the sections we thought we needed to implement this change in residency requirements, but we had gotten a little bit of it wrong, and they cleaned it up in the Senate, so I'd ask for an aye vote.
The question before us is the motion to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1080. Is there any further discussion? If not, Mr. Gregorio, please open the machine and members please vote. Please close the machine. With 54 aye votes, 8 no votes, and 3 excused, Senate amendments to House Bill 1080 are adopted. Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the repassage of House Bill 1080 as amended.
The question before us is the repassage of House Bill 1080 as amended. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Gregorio, please open the machine and members please vote. Catlin and McCluskey. Please close the machine. With 52 aye votes, 10 no votes, and 3 excused, House Bill 1080 is repassed as amended. Let's see, co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Please read the title of House Bill 1029.
House Bill 1029 by Representative Pelton, also Senator Heisey, concerning the authority of an elected county officer to elect to receive a lower salary than the amount provided by law.
Representative Pelton.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House reject Senate amendments to House Bill 1029, that a conference committee be appointed.
Representative Pelton, I'm sorry. I don't know who you're putting on this conference committee, so can you hold just a minute? Thank you, Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to lay over House Bill 1029 till the end of the Senate amendments to House Bills calendar.
Mr. Gregorio, please read the title of House Bill 1095.
House Bill 1095 by Representative Arndt, also Senator Bridges and Hansen, concerning the authority of a local government's master plan to include policies to implement state water plan goals as a condition of development approvals and in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Representative Arndt.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that we concur with Senate amendments.
The question before us is the motion to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1095. Please proceed.
Listen up, colleagues. This is how it's done. So we got an amendment on over here that added 1 FTE to this bill so that we could carry out the work of marrying land planning with water planning. And it came through this chamber without an appropriation. And it went over to the Senate, and they realized I'd put an FTE on there. And so they had to amend the bill title and do the appropriation over there. So this simply just says the Senate's paying for this bill. Boom.
Brilliant. Okay, the question before us is the motion to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1095. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Gregorio, please open the machine and members please vote. Please close the machine. With 40 aye votes, 22 no votes, and 3 excused, the motion to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1095 is passed. Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the repassage of House Bill 1095 as amended.
The motion before us is to pass House Bill 1095, to repass House Bill 1095 as amended. Mr. Gregorio, please open the machine and members please vote. Please close the machine. With 40 aye votes, 22 no votes, and 3 excused, House Bill 1095 is repassed as amended. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Gregorio, please read the title of House Bill 1148.
House Bill 1148 by Representatives Soper and Singer, also Senator Fields and Garner, concerning punishments related to offenses committed against a deceased human body.
Representative Singer.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1148.
Please proceed.
All right. Thank you, Madam Speaker. So on House Bill 1148, the Senate did make an amendment on the statute of limitations to make sure that it is within the period within a prosecution must be commenced begins to run upon the discovery of the criminal or delinquent act, including tampering with a deceased body or abuse of a corpse. Members, I spoke with Representative Soper yesterday on the phone. He is recovering well from his hip surgery and will be back to his kickboxing career shortly. He also then encouraged some of us to move forward without him on this bill because he believes that this is incredibly important. It never hit home more to me than just yesterday as well when a constituent messaged me on Facebook and said that her grandfather in 2014 his body has also gone missing from that same from that same funeral place, and she is still looking for her grandfather. The FBI doesn't know where his body is. This bill will bring a little bit of solace. This amendment will bring a little bit of solace to folks who need closure on and clarity on what we can do and make this crime a real crime, and I encourage an aye vote on the amendment and the underlying bill.
The question before us is the motion to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1148. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and members please vote. Kennedy and Pelton. Please close the machine. With 62 aye votes, 0 no votes, and 3 excused, the motion to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1148 is passed. Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the repassage of House Bill 1148 as amended.
The question before us is the repassage of House Bill 1148 as amended. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and members please vote. Please close the machine. With 62 aye votes, 0 no votes, and 3 excused, House Bill 1148 is repassed as amended. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Gregorio, please read the title of House Bill 1155.
House Bill 1155 by Representatives Valdez-A and Weissman, also Senators Hansen and Priola, concerning requirements that builders of new residences offer buyer options to accommodate higher efficiency devices.
Representative Valdez-A.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House reject the Senate amendments to House Bill 1155 and go to Conference Committee, be appointed.
Please proceed.
So there were a couple of amendments made in the Senate that we had discussed. We feel that this bill is not the proper place for this set of amendments, and we'd like to have a little more discussion on that.
Representative Weissman.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And my co-sponsor and I are in full agreement. Candidly, members, this is a pretty modest bill, and the differences are modest, but we do believe they're important. Some of what the Senate did was fully with our knowledge and we're in agreement. Some, not so much. And look, we find ourselves in a strange place in this legislature and in society, but I still choose to believe that every detail of what we do here matters and that there will be time to resolve conference committees. I was thinking about the broader issues that we find ourselves in last night. All 4 of my grandparents were children of the Depression and World War II, and my father went to Vietnam and came back alive. And depending on how old you are here, your parents or your grandparents are similarly situated. So this legislature and our state and our country and our world will get through this because we've gotten through worse. So we look forward to resolving these differences by means of a conference committee. And I'm in full agreement with my co-sponsor on the idea that we should reject Senate amendments and hash it out in conference.
Okay. The question before the House is to reject Senate amendments to House Bill 1155 and appoint a conference committee. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Gregorio, please open the machine and members please vote. Please close the machine. With 40 aye votes, 22 no votes, and 3 excused, the motion to reject Senate amendments and appoint a conference committee is passed. The members of the conference committee are Representative Valdez-A, Representative Weissman, and Representative Geithner. That brings us... Mr. Gregorio, please read the title of House Bill 1078.
House Bill 1078 by Representatives Jaquez Lewis and Mullica, also Senator Winter, concerning prescription drug claims submitted by a pharmacy and in connection therewith prohibiting retroactive fees.
Representative Jaquez Lewis.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House concur with the Senate amendments on House Bill 1078.
Please proceed.
We had an amendment that gave a little more latitude to the contracting ability of the PBMs.
Representative Mullica.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And we just want to be clear with the amendment that the Senate did pass, that when it comes to the performance-based contracts, that this doesn't stop the agreement from having those performance-based contracts allow the PBMs to maybe get more benefits or get more pay for that. And so we just wanted to make sure that intent was clear. I would ask for a yes vote on this.
The question before us is the motion to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1078. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Gregorio, please open the machine and members please vote. Please close the machine. With 58 aye votes, 4 no votes, and 3 excused, the motion to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1078 is passed. Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the repassage of House Bill 1078 as amended.
The question before us is the repassage of House Bill 1078 as amended. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please open the machine and members please vote. Escar, please close the machine. With 44 aye votes, 18 no votes, and 3 excused, the motion to repass House Bill 1078 as amended is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Majority Leader Garnett. Oh, Mr. Gregorio, please read the title of House Bill 1029.
House Bill 1029 by Representative Pelton, also Senator Heisey, concerning the authority of an elected county officer to elect to receive a lower salary than the amount provided for by law.
Representative Pelton.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I guess we'll try this again. I move the House reject the Senate amendments to House Bill 1029 and that a conference committee be appointed.
Please proceed.
The Senate put on an amendment that the county elected official could go down one category. That creates a few issues if you happen to be a county that is already a Category 6. They can't go anywhere. They're already at the bottom. So I think we need to go to conference committee and hash this out.
The question before us is the motion to reject Senate amendments to House Bill 1029 and appoint a conference committee. Mr. Gregorio, please open the machine and members please vote. Bachenfeld. Please close the machine. With 60 aye votes, 2 no votes, and 3 excused, the motion to reject Senate amendments and form a conference committee is adopted. We will announce the members of the conference committee later. Okay, I have one announcement. Representative Baisley will replace Representative Landgraf on public health today only. And are there any other announcements or introductions? Representative Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm going to be hedging my bet, so I have checked with the Majority Leader and Minority Leader. If we're going to be here Monday, I request my first absence in 7.5 years. If we're not here Monday, I'll be here tomorrow. My record will be intact.
Representative Escar.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Joint Budget Committee will be meeting upon adjournment. We have moved to LSBA to be able to give us a little bit more space. So we'll be in LSBA for Joint Budget Committee today.
Representative Kipp will replace Representative Michael St-Genet on Public Health Committee today only. Representative Singer.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members of Public Health Care and Human Services Committee, same place. Same, well, it's not the same time because it's different every day upon adjournment. Same bill order as usual, and we will meet at, we'll make it an even square 10:15, give you time to get your stuff and get down there at a timely manner. We'll see you at 10:15, and hopefully our folks who came to testify will be there at about 10:15 as well.
All right. Are there any further announcements or introductions? Seeing none, Assistant Majority Leader Kennedy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move the House stand in recess until later today.
Seeing no objection, the House will be in recess till later today.